Howdy, folks. This is the gaming department of the Punk House YouTube channel. I have episode 10 of Cornell Spear Apocalypse Wanderer right here. In this episode, so in the last episode, we left the campsite that's kind of west of Ekron. It's like west of Jamieville. And we've absolutely destroyed the station wagon. It is FUBAR, as the professional nomenclature goes. So we have several issues that we have to deal with over the course of this gameplay. The first one is we're going to have to find another vehicle. Would like to find a truck, because it'll just have more power being able to get us, pulling the camper. But the first thing that we're going to have to kind of deal with is the storm that's coming in. And we woke up this morning and there's quite a bit of rain coming down, and we're on the edge of Ekron, and I'm trying to get back to our safe house that is just outside of Ekron. And we make it most of the way down this rural highway, and we run out of gas. And so I'll end up abandoning the vehicle just a little ways down from here, and just kind of make a break for it, leaving all the supplies behind that we had been using that we had been collecting over the sort of camping trip. I don't think this is an issue. This just gives us a task to do and goals and that whole thing, so we like those. That's sort of what this game is, I feel good at doing, is making you kind of just have to find tasks that you would want to do for yourself, keep yourself alive. So this first day's just kind of a mess. Honestly, all of this is a mess. Because we're going to spend a couple of days just waiting the storm out, hanging out at the safe house, kind of contemplating possible moves forward. I do end up planting some food. I think it's potatoes, strawberries, something else. It's not radishes or carrots, but it might be cabbage. I can't remember. We'll find out a little later. Maybe I'll find out a little later. So yeah, I'm about to poop my pants. I'm so stressed about, is the vehicle gonna make it? And I'm pretty convinced it's not gonna make it. But I mean, it's so worth the option, and it's not if I were to drive across Ekron and refuel the station wagon and then drive all the way to the safe house, we'd still kind of be in the situation that I'm in still. So what I'll end up doing is marching across this field. We'll get home. And we're just gonna do skill building for a little bit, which I have no issue with. I think that is the right move given the context of the storm that is coming through. It's just not safe to go out in a storm. It's how you catch colds. But we have, oh, here it is, cabbage, potatoes, and strawberries. So yeah, I will go out and I'll plant these. I mean, it's not a lot of food, but it's definitely enough to like get us started on the growth. We really don't have a lot of. I mean, I know we're a month in, but I've basically been digging around this whole time. I'm usually way more prepared at this point in terms of having a pretty like viable safe house and this, that, and the other thing. But I'm enjoying the limitations of this character. Just kind of making sure I hit all the towns at some point, loot things. I don't really have an end game on this guy, but that's okay because I mean most of my characters make it about 2 or 3 months, and I burn out on the character, or you die looting a house or what have you. So I mean we're like in a fine place. I can think of a million houses that have preserved food and several grocery stores, and I haven't fished any. So I mean especially if we get like a long-term supply of food going, we set up a refrigerator, the whole 9 yards, then we'll be pretty set. Like, I'm worried at this point that I'm going to end up deciding like it's a good idea to go to the Rosewood prison, or like that military base outside of Rosewood, and just walk and in the first like 2 days of clearing out the hall, and like an introductory hall or whatever, I just get capped. That almost feels inevitable, so we're gonna avoid that. We're gonna try and do stuff in every location, and then end up in West Point and try and probably winter in West Point. So yeah, we just kill this whole day. I mean, it's nothing lost. I also set up a small to-do list and kind of label all the towns, and I'm just thinking, what is that we're gonna do? This next day, same thing. More skill building. I have decided. I mean, I think it's smart for me to just include this footage so that people who either don't play a lot of the game, or are new to the game and are trying to find ways that they can pad like a character's longevity. I mean, reading skill books and like working on your skills is a great way to sort of like pad time into a character. I kind of knew that there was not going to be a helicopter today, but I was like, I want to know if maybe the storm is going to pass by. Off the top of my head, I can't remember what it is that I'm like specifically looking for. Oh, it's a poncho. I'm thinking about looting the houses nearby, just to give myself kind of something to do, get some furniture or something. But knowing that I left all the ponchos back in the scamper, I just come out to the garage, even because I'm sick of being in the house and I want some better natural light. So I opened the little garage door and I put a chair in, kind of little y- uh, living room in the garage type situation. Especially just so long as we don't have power. Like, the house is just so dark and depressing. So I'm just kind of reviewing my skill options right now. There's a place in town that we can go get some more skill books at. I also settle on trapping too. I don't know if we're going to end up doing any trapping, but uh, it is there. But so my decisions are, like, I could go back to Muldrow, I could look for a truck. Um, I can go into Ekron, look for a truck. I do that, and I don't like none of my car options are good in Ekron. And we can also go to Riverside. And the more I think about it, the more I'm enticed by Riverside. I don't know why specifically, but it just felt like the right place to kind of end up. So we do shave and adjust our hair back to the original character look. Gotta look good on camera. And I guess I was kind of thinking too, you'll notice I don't grab any supplies for this run. And I'm just kind of like, this is another, you know what I keep saying, in and out, 20 minutes, we'll find a truck, we're in the middle of Kentucky, there's got to be trucks somewhere. And I'm actually fairly mistaken on this. Most of what I find are like police trucks, which I'm not about to be driving around like an ACAB type channel, so I'm not gonna drive a police truck. I passed by a park ranger truck at one point. Oh man, you guys are gonna see some of these fights too. They get kind of hecked. We don't get injured, but there ends up being some big ones as I'm like looking at trucks around the area, especially in Riverside. We'll check out the factory because they've got a good parking lot there, and that exploration is pretty scary. I kind of retreat during that entire engagement. Now I'm just going to end up doing some organization, because I still have a couple of, like, bags hanging out. I'm a liar. I did the organization earlier. I can't really tell. The playback's a little jittery for me. If I were to watch it at in its full beauty, I wouldn't be able to, I'd have to add like hours to the whole process by rendering the video beforehand. I'm too lazy for that. I kind of want to just keep playing Zomboid. But yeah, so we set off with our flashlight at 4 in the morning. And we're going to get to the scamper. I'm sorry, I'm thinking in my head, like, I have 4 days of activity. I'm trying to remember what all I did on this day. And I feel like it's mostly get back into town. And I'll end up spending the night at the gas station? Question mark? I also end up having some close encounters with zombies and some of the fights ahead. Nothing, again, nothing where I get scratched, but um, I just pull some really big groups, and once they're consolidated together in the way that they kind of end up, you really can get a little hecked trying to take on all of them at once. I'm taking a sip of water. So I even make it back to the scamper, and I don't like grab things that we need. I'm just kind of like, cool, it's all here still, and I'm actually really overwhelmed with like emotion. I guess I grab one gas can because we're gonna need some gas. But I'm overwhelmed with emotion because it's like so cool getting to see this thing that I've been living out of for the last month. Like, yep, it's still there. It looks pretty cool. Just there's a certain nostalgia, I guess, that comes with finding that kind of thing, or knowing that it's there. It's very pleasant. It's a pleasant feeling. So we end up, I know, again, that there's probably not going to be helicopter activity. It's going to probably be starting up in the next couple of days. So I'm just trying to make sure that I am kind of on top of my awareness. So we'll walk through Ekron. And since we've left, there's definitely been zombies that have respawned in the area and walked in. And we end up kind of, I think, hitting a big, like, migration hour while I'm at the gas station, because we just get hit with, like, 2 or 3 waves outside of the groups that I kind of pull with my own stupidity. There's several, like, large waves that we do end up pulling that are just walking. This is also Riverside. This will be on Riverside later. Maybe, I can't even remember. I remember it was along, like, an east-west road. And the one here and the one in Riverside are both east-west running. But lots of good horde combat. Especially these days, like, immediately following peak day. It's just, like, such good numbers. Like, I'm really blown away by this character's kill count, despite the fact that we've spent so many days, like, out in the middle of nowhere. Especially after reading, if you don't know, like, there's a discrepancy between when these are recorded and when they're uploaded to YouTube. But I was reading, like, the most recent Thursdoid, and all of the heat map changes look very exciting. It's, like, really cool to see that we're going to have far larger spawns. Like, look, I even come back to the scamper. I just get the generator. I'm so absurd sometimes. Oh well. Like I'm always saying, though, there's food everywhere, so I'll be fine. Even though we'll shut out tomorrow at like 75 pounds. So yeah, we kill all these big mobs, and we fuel up, and I just decide we're going to um, spend the night here at the gas station because it'll put us 2 hours ahead in terms of travel time. There's a little bit of food left. There's not a lot. Um, I'm almost like thinking this might be the better long-term safe house location, but I'm like, nah. I like our little farmhouse. I really like the farmhouses in this game. I'm usually like anti-mansion, pro, like farmhouse. Like the CDDA house is really cool, and the house that we end up living in, or using as a safe house outside of Riverside is also really cool. I use the one that's like really far to the east. Not really far, but it's east of the mansions. But I'm just thinking like Riverside's kind of bumfuck. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Muldrow is like more. There's those police cars, by the way, that I refuse to use. Maybe Muldrow would have been the right option, especially like we found the generator book so easily there. So maybe like my loot chances or like maybe my loot just favors me there, and I really don't know it. We still haven't found a sledgehammer, which is pretty crazy. I'm just checking the map, even though now that I think about it, I really know my approach to here pretty well. And I mean, this is like almost strictly like a reconnaissance run. Like I'm really just looking for the one piece of loot. Um, it's like a very tunnel vision sort of mission that's being run. I'm even thinking like maybe these mansions in the golf course might have something, and kind of am peeking over, but we can't really see. I end up finding this park ranger truck. I don't want to break into it yet because I haven't like gone into mechanics whatsoever, so I don't feel comfortable replacing the windows on it yet. The station wagon's probably going to become the de facto like mechanics car. That'll be a very fun episode to watch. Doing all that UI clicking for the mechanic skill. That's how you do it. And this was a huge horde that we pulled up here. It was fun. Can I call you back in 5 minutes? Bye. Bye. And so we finally come over here, and I'm like looking around for any sort of key, any sort of way to possibly get in. I'm like, I know I've seen several survival knives on these guys. Let's get some survival knives. And we don't get the truck, which is unfortunate, because for roleplay purposes, that truck would be so fun to have. I don't go through the trailer park, which I really should have done, now that I think about it. Especially because, like, the trailer park is the thing that makes Riverside so like redneck is the fact that it's way out here in the like the big industrial area. But I immediately just pop over to the like General Max warehouse because that's gonna be uh, the right option. I feel like I'm sorry. It feels like it's gonna be the right option, but it's really not. So we just have to do the pull the zombies and dip and at first I was like, oh, like this is definitely something I can take care of, and then there's like 60 that we have in tow, and this is also when I think we hit a bunch of those migrations. So I just pull as many as I can and hit the first unlocked door at the Electromax place and check out this truck, and there's no end to the truck, but we find a baseball bat, so that's exciting. And then in the little like beater up car here that we got in Necron, I'm just like, okay, into Riverside. And I don't even have to go into the cool like impound lot because there's nothing over there. You can just look over there and see that there's only like 8 or 10 cars, and like half of them are burned out and the other half are shitty little red cars. But we do end up finding the key to this purple car in the general store. And I'm like, purple's a great color. This is a distinct looking car. We're gonna grab it, and we'll use this as our like little Riverside reconnaissance car. Because for now, I mean, that's like, I feel like in general, like how I'm always saying, like the best weapon in this game is the weapon that's at hand. Like the best car in this game is the car that's at hand. And appreciate how good it looks now, because by the end of this day, I'm going to have crashed it into like 2 light posts and a stop sign in our investigation of Riverside. But we'll siphon out the gas from this thing and move the generator and the supplies and turn the little purple car into our little purple peril. And it also, hilariously enough, has the How to Use Generators book in the back. So we now have 2 of those. You only need 1, but, you know, we have 2. We're going to drive around Riverside, and we're not going to find what we're looking for. Which is rough, but that's the way it goes. And I mean, it's really just a speed run. Like, I'm going through the commercial district, I'm going to the mansions, I fly around the mansions, I'm flying around big parking lots, and I mean, there's just not like a strong vehicle in sight, which is like mind-blowing. I'm like, how are there so many like vans? How are there so many of these coupes when like I'm in Kentucky and there should just be trucks like freaking everywhere, I feel like. So the stats on this just make no sense to me. I also know I have car spawn set to low anyways, and then events on sometimes, or whatever it is, above low. But we do find another black truck over here, and we pull, it's probably about 40, which is manageable. We just like use lots of beta blockers, and maintain right to left movement, and use our zigzags to try. We're not nimble enough to be like hella zigzagging, but we're finally kind of able to zigzag, which just helps form up the like conga line a little bit better. we do have to turn around and sprint a lot. But we find nothing there, so yeah, we're just gonna spend the night at the little farmhouse, and that'll be that. I'm excited to see what all happens in the next couple of episodes. I love you. Ciao.